out. So there's two. Anyway, but there's other things that the commission does. One of the things that we have put in place is a flat rate. And what that is for is so the utility companies have fixed costs for their infrastructure and their running of their business. That has nothing to do with the amount of usage that you use, okay? So what we've done for the electric companies is we've introduced this new flat rate that'll be coming out in probably the end of this year, beginning of next year, where their fixed costs are going to be set in your bill separately, and then your varying will be your usage. So we believe that spreading those costs out, for the most part, people will see a rate decrease, but it's all going to depend on your usage.
Okay, interesting. I think I had been that type of the flat rate component was in the news a couple months ago, maybe 6 months ago. And some legislators had come out pushing back against it. I think not in totally the concept of it, but the way that it was tiered towards income. Is that taken? Okay.
That was a misunderstanding in the
Okay,
beginning when this first proceeding came out, but that is not how it is applied. There's nothing to do with income basis on this.
Okay, all right, excellent.
So the flat rate applies to all, the same flat rate applies to all residential customers.
Correct. It'll be, well, there could be a variation on whether you're a low income customer or just a standard customer, because we do have a lifeline program for the low income customers.
Wait, one last thing. Can we contact you directly, or we just go to the website and do it through the generic support page?
Well, it just depends on what you're asking for. If you're looking to file a complaint, we have a link on our homepage that you can use to submit all of your complaints about utilities or safety issues. If there's a particular interest in a proceeding that's going on and you need additional information, please feel free to reach out to me.
Send that by contact, please.
Sure, absolutely. Once you send any information, we will follow up after the meeting with that. And we will put in a 3-paragraph key takeaways from the meeting and the link. So just send that to me tomorrow, next time, whenever you can, in the next
Sure.
couple of days, and we'll push that out.
And the last question, have you ever been to SCP office?
I have. And
And
I still have all my kickers and toes.
okay, Neil is definitely our comic relief. Okay, so what are the transmission lines? Yeah.
I just, since you're the liaison, I know a lot of comments were made last spring. This is with Edison, that when we got the evacuation order, like a minute later, all our power was cut. So for those of us who don't have generators, we did not have any kind of time to be able to make arrangements that we needed to make. And I would really like to see that change. I mean, if having the power, it was kind of like, you need to go and boom, now you don't have any power, so you really need to go.
was that for a public safety power shut off?
I think that was for an attitude. It was when we got the evacuation, when the fires were happening and we got the evacuation order. Okay, so it's like, you know, like we got an evacuation order. And literally like within a minute, power just died. And so, you know, I mean, I always was in communication with family and friends and neighbors. And to have that go dead right away, you're not, you know, you weren't given any time to be able to make arrangements. So I'm just saying.
So if it was a public safety power shutoff, they are required to do advanced notification in various stages. But if there's just an outage that occurred, then obviously they didn't even have an opportunity to provide notification. All utilities are required to submit post events to us, reports. Those reports are posted on our website and publicly available for you to read what they did in the event of an outage.
I would say it's really ironic that the power went out immediately after the evacuation. You know, so I mean, it sure seemed like we're serious about you need to go, but it didn't. I don't feel like it was very reflective on what the needs of the people who in the community have. So I'm just saying, you're the liaison. I want to put that on your plate and your radar.
I appreciate it.
It was not a happy moment.
Thank you.
It makes sense, Kathy, but at the same time, I think they were so caught off guard, but still, they shouldn't be so caught off guard. But yeah, no, I mean, I hear you, That doesn't give us much confidence.
I mean,
in
it was
ourselves.
about 6 o'clock in the evening, and you know, we had known the fire was happening since 10 o'clock in the morning.
Fair
So
enough. Yeah, fair enough. No, good point, good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the transmission lines? I wanna, if anyone wants to ask about this, it was recently in the news and a number of us in the community and different organizations were talking about this article that had come up that had discussed transmission lines and distribution lines and certain ones being sort of abandoned or no longer used, and whether, I think there's a requirement, tech says they're supposed to take them down if they think they'll never ever use them, and, but they're not really taking them down in the, remote possibility that they may one day use them. Where does the CPUC stand on that? Because it's perceived to be a safety issue, because some of these sort of semi-dead, maybe not totally dead lines can contribute to arcs and different kind of surges that can contribute to fire. So where do you guys stand, or CPUC, excuse me, I don't mean you personally, on taking maybe a more hardline stance on that, or looking at that a little bit more robustly? What's the?
So the CPUC does have a general order that addresses this. General Order 95 addresses abandoned lines. Okay, so if the line is still in use by the owner, that's different. If the line has been abandoned, we do expect that the owner would be removing those.
And is there a penalty or timeline for that?
That I'm not sure. I have to check on it and get back with you.
Okay. But there is an expectation for removal.
There is.
Any other questions? Oh, I see a hand. Go for it, Lisa.
Well, I'm sharing a question that's from the chat. Charlene Hopi is asking, did Hope already discuss the copper line phone outage in Old Canyon? And I'm not sure.
Extend the mic over there so we can all hear, because I can't.
Yeah,
talk.
okay. All right, we'll send it down.
Here, I can-
Try to speak up, but-
Yeah.
Because Charlene was actually in touch with me today. So there was a copper wire theft on Old Canyon, and several Frontier customers have not had that line service in what she says has been about a month. Our office reached out to the government affairs representative, and so I'm waiting for them to get back to me on a solution to that, but I think that's what her question was, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
Thanks, Dan. All right.
Is that on? Is that even on right now?
I can put up a response. Yeah, right.
None of us know how to follow directions or follow messages.
Okay, all right, okay, you're waiting for the response, and did you have anything, what is the situation on copper lines? Do they have to replace it, right?
What?
The missing copper line, so the question or the issue is that there was a line that was, I think there's been copper theft, right?
Copper theft has been an ongoing problem, and we're starting to see a lot of fiber theft as well, because for whatever reason, they think there's copper inside the fiber lines.
Oh.
So we're seeing a lot of that. So this is something that I know that supervisor's office has addressed, and I've spoken to them about it as well.
What is the rule on that, though? Do the companies have to replace it, or how does that work?
Or they have to provision the service that they
Okay,
have.
so, and usually the easiest way to do that would be just to replace the copper, maybe protect it better.
If it's been about a month, how long do they have before they need to correct it? Is that usually
Yeah.
too long?
That I don't have an answer to that.
That would be good, because a month does seem like,
We can connect offline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
all right, so
I have a follow-up. My wife broke down the canyon and she looked at all the down low voltage cables. You wanna know what's the story with them? Are they gonna be removed and are they gonna be replaced?
Well, again, that goes back to our general order that says that the lines have been abandoned, we expect the owner to remove them, but they have to be truly abandoned.
But they're kind of laying on the ground in heaps.
that would seem a little bit, are you sure they're for power? You're
No, I
afraid
said
that
low voltage,
low voltage, okay,
which tend to be
communication.
communication, telephone and who knows what else.
There's a lot of those lines adjacent to public land as we leave Topanga and go to the ocean. You'll see a lot of wires and lines just laying piled on the sides of the roads. I'm not sure if you guys are.
I can't speak for the utilities, but I mean, has anybody looked into whether or not they could be laying there because they're going to be using them to another provision service? I don't know.
Because I have copper thieves.
Maybe we ask John Abbott, he's gonna be speaking during.
John Abbott's on,
Yeah.
online.
So, but let's ask during his segment, still have a couple more minutes left to vote. And I hope comes back. But this may be our only chance, so let's get the questions in.
No, I'd be happy to come anytime you need me to.
Okay, and I just want to say personally, I had an issue, an unexpected issue, over the summer, and I reached out to Hope, and she was able to point me directly to where I needed to go to get it solved, and it was solved within days. So I think her advocacy and her pointing me to the right place got the issue resolved. And it was a big deal issue. It had to do with an FCE hookup, and I had a certain time frame in which I could do it, and basically FCE was, no, you have to pay again, and go through the whole process again, and so she saved me, God knows, how much time and money, so she is very effective. Okay,
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
One more question over here.
Hmm?
Can we have one last question?
In
Gentlemen,
this conversation, I get the impression that the CPUC has lots of rules, but that they are not enforced and therefore the utilities don't bother doing it. Am I correct?
No, if you find that a utility is doing something incorrectly, please file a complaint on our website so that we can investigate it. Every complaint that's submitted is investigated with the utility.
I had to do that, I did that, I spoke to Hope, and then she said, file a complaint online on this page, and just can you pull up the file a complaint page? Definitely use it. I do think there is a legal requirement for them to follow up on those actually submitted online complaints.
it's in the chat. Yeah, I'll pull it.
But I agree, that is the perception, and you were right to bring it up, but people like Hope are trying to change that and let people know the best way to get a remedy. And then if there is no remedy, then we can really complain. So, yeah. All right. I think
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
she just pulled up the website, so you'll see, it's actually very easy. This is on our homepage. It says file complaint, you click on it, then it just wants to know what type of complaint you're filing. Is it a public safety complaint? Is it a complaint about a utility company? So there's a variety of options there, and the form is very easy to fill out. And trust me, every complaint that is submitted is handled.
Let's see how many complaints come in from Topanga. Very. I think we're good. I think I'm delighted. Thank you so much, Hope, for coming. You're fantastic. So helpful. All right, you're certainly welcome to witness the rest of this fun, exciting.
I plan to stick around. I like to know what's going on in my community so that I'm informed and able to assist.
She's too good to be true. Okay, all right, thank you so much. And I wanted to, we're gonna switch over to Daniel now, but I meant to introduce the town council board at the beginning, and then I forgot my eagerness to get to our first segment. So let me go ahead and introduce the board. I want to start with our vice president, Elisa Lamb.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and Elisa focuses quite a bit on environmental issues, and we all do a little bit of everything, but her special focus is environmental topics, school, kids, yeah, the whole everything. And that's Dr. Elisa Lamb. In addition, we have Jaspreet Katrib, who is our treasurer, recently elected treasurer, and also our IT director, and just all around can do anything person. Good to have those on your team. And then we also have Roger Pugliese, our government liaison. There he is. Most people know Roger. He is a road warrior, a trash warrior, a warrior in every sense of the word. And we are so grateful. We also have Stacy Sledge, who is online. She's not in person. Stacy is our communications person and also I call her our emergency preparedness guru, because she is just amazing when it comes to anything emergency preparedness related. So yay, Stacy. Okay, and then also we have Tam Taylor, who is probably joining us online, but she is a member emeritus. She recently moved out of the Canyon, but she is our SAGES and sort of senior community liaison, and sort of plugs us into their needs and how we can help them. And then I'm Carrie Carrier, and I'm the head of Topanga Town Hall. All right, we will now move over to next segment in the evening, and that is Daniel Vicente, Supervisor Lindsay Horvath.
Well, it's been a long summer. Obviously, I won't touch on everything our office has been up to this summer. I'll just touch on the relevant items right now. So Supervisor Horvath, the big news obviously is that we're going to be having the Ready Fest here in Topanga on October 4th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're doing this in partnership with TSEP, and it's being organized by the Topanga Emergency Management Task Force. So we're really excited about this. We have lots of really nice flyers here. Please take them out, post them up at your business, drop them off at your local coffee shops. You'll probably see them around. If you scan the QR code, you can RSVP for it. You don't have to, however, but it would be nice to have an accurate head count so we can make sure we're bringing enough stuff. It's going to be about 50 vendors there. We're going to have workshops going on all day. The fire chief will be there. The supervisor will be there. A few other electeds may be there, but I'm waiting to get confirmation on that. But the big star is going to be Smokey Bear. So make sure to come out. We look forward to seeing you there. Lots of free stuff and lots of food. So, look forward to seeing you guys. I will touch on myself organized here. We're already talking about that. I do want to touch on AB 470 because we did get a lot of outreach from the community about that. The supervisor was strongly opposed to AB 470. We need to make sure that our communities in Topanga and our Las Virgenes cities are able to stay connected in the event of an emergency. So the county did, the supervisor sent a letter of opposition, but then the county was able to also send a oppose on this amended letter, and then the next day it was pretty much dead. So
And for those that don't know
Don't know.
what 470,
it would allow AT&T to end their COLR obligation, which basically means that you wouldn't have that landline service through them available anymore. We had heard a lot of input that they would be able to, that you would be able to come in and have VoIP phones, which are internet phones. Those don't work in an emergency, as we know. So that's really what our main concern about that was. But obviously that is dead in the water for the time being. But urge you to continue to reach out to our office on matters like that when it comes up. It may not be in our jurisdiction, but we do have a voice when it comes to that. And so we want to make sure that we're adequately representing Topangans, and want to give a shout out to the city of Hidden Hills for really helping us out with that one. The supervisor, in partnership with Supervisor Solis yesterday, did pass a motion that provides rental relief to fire impacted communities as well as our immigrant communities who have been impacted by ICE raids this summer. So that is in total going to be about $30 million of support that will go out to those communities. The DCBA is in the process of setting that up. Will happen in the next, they have up to 90 days. I suspect it'll be sooner than that. They have that set up. The supervisor did offer an amendment to do outreach to the Topanga Town Council specifically on that, to make sure that you are being involved in that outreach for people who may have been fire impacted. So she did offer that at the board meeting, and that was accepted by the author of that original amendment. So expect outreach from the DCBA and assistance from that. So yeah. Yes, I'll touch on Zone Zero since Carrie handed me this. The supervisor has expressed her concerns that she does have with it. We all agree that home hardening is very important, especially here in the canyon. However, what we want to make sure is that we're not going too far with that. A lot of native plants that we have here are actually very good for slowing and stopping fires and things like that. It's a pretty lengthy letter, so I won't touch on everything in it, but I'm sure Carrie will share it with you if you'd like to see it. But it kind of lays out what a lot of the concerns for folks who call our Santa Monica Mountains home have been expressing to our office. That's pretty much all I've got for now. I will say that the same day as our Topanga Ready Fest, we are also having our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration in the East Valley. I don't know the exact location of that yet myself, because I'm not organizing it, but you can find our events page at lindsaymorgoth.lacounty.gov. I have business cards if you need them, and please feel free to reach out if you need anything.
Excellent. All right, so with the trash, and maybe I shouldn't be bringing this up, a lot of people have brought it up, and I know you've been in contact with Waste Management, so I just want people who are attending the meeting today to know. So as you know, we now have about 4 black bears in the Santa Monica Mountains, and previously we didn't have any that we knew of. Now, well, it's lovely, we love our wildlife here, we're very excited about that, but it does pose an issue when it comes to trash and unfortunate interactions between wildlife and humans, because when there's trash involved, bears, again, it's a real magnet for them, and they can get sort of aggressive and assertive about getting to that trash and what's in it. So the singular best thing we can do to sort of be a good neighbor to our wildlife and to try to reduce unexpected and maybe less than friendly human wildlife interactions is to secure our trash bin so that the bears realize I can't get into these trash bins. I'm not going to come into human space. I'm going to stay more in the hinterland. In order to do that though, I mean, you can secure your own trash bin. That would be great. If you want to take it upon yourself, there's all sorts of how-tos. You can buy packages on Amazon. But the problem is when it comes to the time when waste management comes to empty it, like there needs to be a way for them to open it, or you need to remember to open it like before they come. So what we're trying to do, because this has been brought to waste management's attention before in other communities, rural communities, is get a sort of waste management sanctioned and accessible, secure box so that their truck drivers, when they come up to a house with a secure box, they have the ability to open it themselves so that it's never left unsecured for any length of time for a bear to access. And we think this one type of approach will do a lot to make this place safe for humans and bears. But in terms of making that happen, it's going to involve, I believe, probably some sort of a contract amendment or renegotiation. It's not a slam dunk immediate response, but the county is working actively with waste management to make that happen. So I wanted to give them a shout out for taking that on. I wanted to give Stacy and Jess Freet a shout out for holding the community meeting on bear, so people could be, made aware of what they can do and what the risks and benefits are. And then also, just so the community know, if something's happening, waste management's trying to make it happen. It will take a little bit of time, but we're working on it. Okay, does anyone have any questions for Daniel?
I'll just bring up something that we talked to you about. As the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, Chamber of Commerce has initiated the Topanga Canyon Trash Orders, which are out every Sunday morning cleaning the boulevard, even during all this period. One thing that we brought up to your attention, and you mentioned, in keeping with the abandoned cables and wires and all that kind of stuff, we mentioned to the supervisor is that what we have seen on the boulevard every Sunday when we're out there is all the debris that from the fire and everything that's been left there from the abandoned wires and other paraphernalia that is out there on the boulevard. And rather than get in a situation where we're gonna have to clog up the boulevard again and delay traffic on the boulevard because they're removing that debris and those abandoned wires and everything that's along the boulevard. It would be best if they started that process now, is what we've suggested, instead of waiting till after they finish all the road and everything else to do that. Because that's just going to add additional delays for our businesses and additional interruptions. So I don't know where we are with that. We've mentioned it several times to, I think Chris Conway mentioned it to you in several Chamber of Commerce meetings, and I've sent out a few notices on it. I don't know what's being done with that, but it would be great now that they have the opportunity. It would be terrific if they start removing that's not going to be there at the end, and start basically cleaning up the canyon now, so that we won't have to have a period where we have to delay traffic on the canyon anymore. Thanks. So where are we with that?
I will check in with Edison again on that one. We have mentioned it. And with regards to the trash and things like that, they have stated that is not their folks doing that. Because I know you've reached out a few times about that too. But let me put it on my calendar and I'll follow up with you next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Great question. Okay, any other questions for Daniel?
Say hi to Lucy.
Yes, we look forward to seeing her.
Saying a lot of thanks for all the work that she and you and everyone else doing for us, because each time I'm here, this grant is happening, this relief is happening, and this is fantastic to see the good things are happening here in Topanga. Yay.
Yeah, good, no, good point. I mean, yes, we love the grant. We do. Keep them coming. Okay, no, very good. And everything else. We love what like a fighter she is for, communities who are struggling and have special needs and are vulnerable. So thank you. All right, well, I think we just might be ready to move on to the roads. Caltrans, are you ready? SCE, do we have John Abbott hooked up? Yep. Awesome, all right, so we'll pull him up, and then Caltrans, Katie, if you wanna go ahead and start us off. Sure. This is Katie Masick from Caltrans, our, public information officer. Got it, I don't even have to. All right, do you want microphone, look at that better? And then you know what, it would be great, maybe actually do quick face, that's the camera. Oh, wow, right into the camp.
Yeah, okay. Can you guys hear me? Is this on?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I'm Katie. I am with Caltrans. We are talking today about updates on Topanga Canyon Boulevard. There's a pavement project happening from, well, the whole project is 18 miles from Pacific Coast Highway up to Devonshire Street in Chatswood. And then, emergency work following the fire, as well. So few quick updates on the pavement project. Over the summer, crews have repaved the highway. We're still working on some final striping and street loop installation, between Devonshire Street to Mulholland Drive. So we're 71% complete with that project. The hope is to have the valley portion completed by the end of the year. And then, as you guys are probably aware, we've paused work on the canyon portion of the pavement project until we finish with the emergency repairs. So a tentative early date, to get started on that pavement work is early May. However, as you know, that's subject to weather and other conditions and the repairs. Finally, for this project, the last update I have, we just finalized today the fiber maps discussion. We will be having that at 1:30 p.m. on Friday, October 10th, via WebEx. So I sent out a calendar invite to all interested parties. If anybody else needs it, let me know. But we are asking that we hold that discussion until Friday, October 10th, and we will take all of your input and ideas then. As far as the emergency work, a couple highlights of work that we've completed over the summer. We have removed numerous amounts of debris and mud, at multiple locations. We have replaced damaged roadway signs, and we have installed temporary K-rail to supplement, the areas of the guardrail that got burned in the fires. And we have installed debris flow barriers, which is a type of netting that collects debris from falling onto the highway at multiple locations. And we have reinforced soil slope with geogrid at multiple locations. If you have questions about that, I'll hand it over to you guys. Which reminds me, I should have done this at the beginning, but I'm here with two other staff in person. So I have June Kane here. He's our assistant district division chief with program and project management. And then Sharif Botra, who's our chief office of construction in Westfield. And then Raveen Maru is joining us virtually if we have questions about the pavement project. He's the resident engineer on that. So current work happening in the canyon, we are doing culvert repair and working on a retaining wall in the section of one-way traffic control that is Caltrans from like post mile 2.4 to 2.8, 2.9. And we are aiming to start work on a second retaining wall also in that closure area in early October. We do have another project starting in late September, early October on some slope restoration at post mile 3.67, which is like, I think right around the wide area. I could be wrong.
3.6 is right by John Bella.
Oh, okay, a little further south. So that's going to be actually, it's from a landslide that happened before the fire, but we had to postpone it for the fire, so we're going to be installing a Gideon basket to catch debris, so another form of slope stability. So we've ordered those materials and we're waiting for them to arrive. We're hoping to start that in late September, early October, and once that's started, we will need to do one-way traffic control for a small portion of that area as well. But we're hoping to get that completed in under a month, so it should be pretty short. The last thing I want to discuss today, probably why most of you want to talk to us. So that's the bicycles concerns we've had about bicyclists on the canyon, as well as the traffic congestion in general on the canyon. So I just want to let you know that we hear you and we're aware. We don't want traffic backed up any more than you guys do, but we also want our crews to safely be able to complete their work. We know that this is a vital highway for so many people, but especially everybody in this room. And we want to get it back to restored condition as soon as possible, but to do that, we have to make these repairs. And as we know, that work is going to continue at least until the spring, so we have to find a way to work together and be patient with one another. I know it takes time to recover from disaster, and I know we all just want to move on, but we have to make sure that this gets done right, and we have to make sure that our workers are safe as well. So we are trying to find a way to balance the safety of our team and our contractors out there with the needs of our traveling public, but particularly the Topanga community. We know how much you guys rely on that road. We have made some immediate adjustments. We shortened the one-way traffic closure of about 3/10 of a mile. We're hoping that that combined with SCE moving their closure further north will help alleviate at least that specific area of congestion. We have reminded our crews and our contractors that they should only be moving equipment between midnight and 5 a.m. unless there is like some extreme circumstance that requires them to do it immediately. We're also trying to be more proactive in communication with the contractors and their crews so that if there is advance notice of a equipment removal during the day, we can let you all know. We don't always get advance notice because sometimes it just needs to be done immediately, but I know from talking to our construction crews that they try to get everything ready, like once they finish the workday, they try to get everything ready for the day before or the day after, so that they're ready to go because they don't like inconveniencing anybody. We like being inconvenienced. We are exploring options regarding bicyclists. We haven't come to any decisions, but we've had conversations with management trying to figure out some solution. And we're looking into additional options for particularly the school traffic in the morning. I know that's a particular concern to me. I know that's tied to funding. I don't want kids to be late to school every day. I worked in an elementary school in the Bay Area, and I remember how important it was that they got to school on time, and I remember the rewards they got for being on time. So we're still looking at options there. We've had some discussions about possibility of buses to get everybody in one vehicle, and promoting carpooling, but we are open to suggestions. So with any time I have left, I'm willing to hear from you. Also, we're here to answer questions if you guys have questions. I'm gonna leave a stack of business cards here too, so if you have ideas and we don't get to talk about them today, my email and my cell phone's on there. Email is best just for documenting those ideas, but I'm happy to have phone conversations. So I'll open questions.
In regards to the bicycles, the bicyclists who go down the Coast Highway don't seem to be a problem. So they can keep up the traffic. Problem seems to be the ones who are huffing and puffing up the hill. So why don't we make the canyon like in the canyon and one way downhill for bikes?
It's a good suggestion. We'll take it into consideration. I know it's uphill is the problem because bikes can't go.
Well,
It's a good creative stuff. I think you might run into some legal issue, but it's worth exploring. It is worth exploring. Like, let's not just assume it can't be done. Look into it.
I'm just gonna.
So as somebody who currently is taking an e-bike up and down the boulevard to get to and from work, when you first reopened the boulevard, I was on the upward, I could like stay inside the cones most of the way, so like the other cars are already lined up, and I try to do it as best as I can right now, but that's like when you look at where your barriers are and that, if you can create a little space so that the bike can go and the cars can pass on the left of you. I mean, just, that would be.
I know we've discussed it. I don't know that there's room in that area.
I
but
know that
Yeah,
there's-
yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
where
take it-
you got.
I'll take note.
And I understand that's what they're saying, but they can't clear the traffic to the other direction, so the bikes are all moving. And some, I couldn't go up there on my bike right now. Some of them look like they should be.
Other questions? So we have a question from the chat from Catherine Shaw. In case of fire, what are our plans for evacuation, given the traffic control delays and the one lane?
Yeah, so in case of fire, Caltrans will defer to emergency management and depending where the fire is, they will be the experts and they will let us know and we just defer traffic control to them.
So in the event of a fire on red flag days, work will suspend.
Yeah,
The
that
department's
one,
already
thank you.
discussed that. So work will suspend on red flag days, and I believe that they will have restricted flow of access for vehicles. So there will not be people from the valley coming and trying to get through the canyon on a red flag day. I believe is what the answer is. Yes.
And can I ask, as a parent, and I've got two high schoolers and I'm wrestling, I appreciate you working on this. Is there any way to give information about the status of the road so that we could take Tuna. Because Tuna actually has a left light that turns onto PCH. It's a very viable way to go, but it adds about 10 minutes. So when you're sitting there, which has happened 4 times, you end up making this choice. You get too far down. Now you can't go back. And our kids are late. I mean, honestly, Pally is forgiving us, but we really leave early and it's been kind of a nightmare. So I'm just wondering if there was active traffic, or there was somebody at the corner being like, 20 minutes this way, we could make an informed choice. The fact is, we don't know what's happening. And once you're wedged in there, you can't communicate, can't tell the school, it's a dead zone, we're just sitting there.
And at least, and other people, Katie, you're really liking that microphone, but just so people on that.
I'm so sorry, I'm supposed to have this.
I'm just trying, some people might have trouble, I can hear you just fine, but some.
I'm just asking as a parent commuting through there every day with our carpool, a bus would be enormously helpful because then we have a valid vehicle. And if it's late, it's excused. When you're individual carpool parents, you're doing your damnedest, but it's really hard. And the other question I'm asking is, could we get information or somebody to tell us how long it would take? Then we could make a choice to do Tuna if it's too awful. Like, we're trying to think of people coming from Old Canyon. They can't even get to us if we're in, Fernwood area. And then we don't know whether we should go up or out. And there's really no active traffic information about how long that's going to be. It's not updated fast enough for you to know whether I should take Tuna. It'll tell me it's always shorter to go TCB, but it's not. So anyway, and the bus, that was such a blessing when we had the bus. People love the bus, but I know
That's good feedback, though.
Um,
Caltrans Quick Map is pretty up to date on traffic, so that's just quickmap.dot.ca.gov. And we publish weekly closures on our website as well. That website's a little bit longer, but it's dot.ca.gov. And then you'll have to search for district 7. So that's probably the fastest way, but I would encourage you, knowing how traffic is, that if you have an alternate route, you should use it. Because the traffic is going to remain. It's especially during the school day. There's no way around it, but I like the bus idea and we're going to be discussing other options. But alternate routes are always encouraged.
Is that something that's on the table, Katie, the bus option?
I have started discussion.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never done that before, but I was talking to Laura Linder about it and she gave me
Yeah, she
contact.
knows how to do
Yeah,
it.
she gave me contact.
Terrific, we would love that, yeah, if you could look into it.
I need a psychiatrist because I was driving from Topanga down to the valley. And I saw all these white dots along the side of the road of the white stripes. The next day I went, they were gone. I must have had a strange hallucination.
I think that's the pavement project. I don't know if we're ravine.
Roger can speak to that one.
Yeah, Roger, we have a question about the white dots, I forget what they're called, like rumble strip. And then how they were removed.
To mark out the side of the road.
Right, exactly.
And
It's like
when-
they disappeared. So he wants,
What is the question?
Seth just wants to, he said one day he saw them, next day he didn't, what happened?
What happened was they were put in under the wrong specs. Who asked the question?
Seth. Seth.
Okay, they were put under the wrong specs. So Caltrans came, thank
He
you.
doesn't need to be.
Caltrans came back and revisited that and did it the right way instead of the wrong way. So right now, it is the way it is in the rest of the canyon. Okay?
You weren't hallucinating, you're saying, you're good, you can hold up.
This was an old.
They were
This was an old problem we dealt with before, and then this was the solution, the new
Yeah.
solution to.
Okay,
Okay,
Should I just wander around?
yeah.
Great.
The retaining wall, the S curves, is that just a general upgrade of the shoring along there, or I don't think it was fire damage, but are they just taking this opportunity, since they're doing a lot of work down there, to make that S curves good for many years?
I can speak to that. So, the retaining wall is because of damage actually to the slopes. The slopes were severely damaged and it was deteriorating. The road was actually collapsing there. So that's why we put a K-rail, we turned it into a one-way, and we are building the walls now to stabilize them. So it's actually needed for safety.
And what's the time frame on the retaining wall there?
So we have two retaining walls going on. One of them is about 200 feet, one is 350 or something like that. The 200 feet one is kind of halfway done, I would say. We haven't started yet on the 300 feet one, but once we finish this one, just because of space limitations, we are gonna start drilling on the other one right away. I'm expecting by spring of 2026. Drilling is unknown condition. When you start drilling, you know what you're encountering in the ground, and it can be easy, it can be very hard, so we don't know for now.
Ashley has brought up an issue that I'd like her to mention now, sorry to put you on the spot, but it's about signage, and this is directed at Caltrans and SDE, especially in these new areas that you're talking about at mile marker 3.67, sort of new project area, and then as SDE moves to Happy Trail. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just know when SE had the work going on last year, there was like an electronic sign, like after Mulholland, just like warning drivers, like, hey, this is going on. And it was just helpful for us to try to prepare, to know, like, to expect this. And I think for others, it might be helpful too. Because right now there's like, I'm clued in, right? I'm here, but a lot of people aren't, so they have no idea what's going on.
Can I add to that? Hold on, folks.
Yeah, construction sign will go up once we would begin construction, so definitely we'll let everybody know that something is going to happen.
Aren't you already doing construction?
Yeah.
I mean, is that the whole thing that you finally got started?
No, 3.6 is the new one that we are going to start. That portion of the work was not started yet, so that's what you mean, right?
I mean, all of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
And the construction site is already up.
Well, let me just understand, are you talking about like an electronic sign, one of these portable signs that show some information?
Yeah.
So what kind of information would you be looking for?
Like,
I think.
whatever happened last Tuesday, like, that was, I mean, it was 2 hours to get from Old Canyon down to PCH and coming home. So just better communication ahead of time like that. If I knew that, you know, whatever it is that you had to do was gonna slow the road down by that much,
Okay.
you know, this is happening on this date, take an alternative route. So we, you know, like, just better communication, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know, the biggest thing that I wanna say, and the SCE guy who's on there is, I got a PE teacher's voice, but, you know, the biggest thing is this community got traumatized last January, and we've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and there's times where it just feels like, frankly, you don't give a damn about the residents, and it's hard, it's very frustrating. So that communication, like, I'm on a bike, and so I talk sometimes with the guys along the road, and to hear, you know, I said, well, why are we doing, the pilot car comes up to the one spot, and then people get through that, and then you get stopped. Why isn't the pilot car just going all the way? And, you know, well, those are our radios, and the radios don't reach that far. Well, how much does it cost to buy radios that can reach the whole distance? So that we could do this to make, you know, like, do you have anybody who's a transportation expert who can help minimize the delay on the boulevard, given the circumstances? Can you please hire somebody to do that? You know, like, just having a sense that you are actually doing your best for those of us who have spent so much of our time just to get to and from work and school and all that. I think that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, one of the things that we've started to do between Kerry, myself, and Todd, we've been sending out on Sundays, we've been sending out what the work will entail the following week. We've got about 135 email addresses that I send it out to every Sunday.
So we need to increase that, I can see. So we'll get more of these emails from the folks that have showed up today. The work that we've been doing by sending out this email is that we're allowing people to understand what is going on for the following week. So those that are not on that email list will be on that email list. I will just add them to our group.
Love your updates.
Because I think it's important, it's important, we all know how important it is communication wise.
Added to that email list that we send out weekly, and it's largely thanks to Roger and Todd, though I appreciate the shout out. I'm passing around a clipboard, and we will add you to that sort of informal email list that gets updated with whatever we know we send out weekly.
Right.
Thank you, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Roger and Todd. They have been hands-on, feet on, everything on. I mean, Roger has reached out to everybody and their brother at Caltrans and SE, and he's on them regularly, having interactions, discussions, asking questions, doing field visits, announcing unannounced, and he's just really dedicated and obscene amount of time. Nobody else would do this. It's all unpaid, and everybody needs to know that and to say thank you to Roger. So it's really a labor of love.
Thank you, but that's not even necessary. Look, we do it because it's our canyon. We love the canyon. We're always gonna be here in the canyon. And so that's why we do it, because we love where we live. And now Joseph has something to it.
Real quick, we have a little neighborhood, a group on our road, and the road captain, it's so the chief transmits them. So you might want to find out if there are any more road captains or community groups in the county.
Research it, because he's that person who has the neighborhood network. Okay, that's good.
Why not? Can you not put this on a website instead of it being like a blocked out email list?
It's just, you know what, we're in Pearl's fashion. Sorry.
Gary, send the email to him.
You
And you get a website and then let us. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. It's here.
Great idea. Let me just say, one of the ways that the communication gets around to the canyon is that Katie sends us information on what Caltrans will be doing for the coming week. And she separated out between what goes on in the valley compared to what goes on in Topanga. But there is a separation between the two. So it starts there, and then we take it over, and we start adding our other things to it as well. So
Yeah.
as we move on.
Direct official Caltrans line, but then like Roger said, because it's not just Caltrans, it's Caltrans, it's Public Works, it's SDE, and Roger's collecting information data through his field site visits, and so then we add that to whatever it is that Caltrans. You get a more enriched email from his.
So I should have your email address or something.
I want to be on Katie's list too, because they're just so professionally done.
Yeah, if you want to be added to the distribution list for any of our project updates, let me know, and I'll just pass around the business cards. Take one if you
Oh,
want.
yeah, please, Ashley, no, I think our
Yeah,
chat
like-
has come through, might want to take
Okay,
a
that
quick
way.
pause to introduce our sheriff, this is Hatch. All right, so Lisa can ask, and then we're gonna move.
So, a question about signage. I know right before the stop, you have a couple of red signs saying, 200
The
feet.
one-way traffic.
Correct. What I find is it's really frightening when it's really backed up and you're on a blind curve and you're that last car. And I'm thinking, fudge, what if someone comes whipped around the corner, which they do. And I've had people squeal around me, barely not rear-end me, and many times, not there, but elsewhere. So could we have something active, like something live? I don't know, when it's really crowded.
Where
At those blind curves, because if you're that last car and somebody's just.
the last car waiting to go.
Correct, at that time, it's scary, because you're sitting there looking at her and like, yeah, get out of the way, I pull out in case they get that corner. I don't know how to fix it, but a live sign would be like, if you have 20 feet, the 40 feet, it's this curve. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really-
So you're talking cars coming up behind you?
Yeah, it'd be a multi-car crash if someone whips around. And
I felt that on my way up.
Yeah, so.
We'll put a message sign.
Photo west side.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll look into that.
That'd be good, great.
Or Rumble Street.
Leading up to the.
More.
But wait, the problem is we don't know where the line will be going.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. There's.
Sorry.
I chose to vote here in the corner.
As the community liaison for the Topanga Chamber of Commerce, I don't want you to forget about the businesses. So any of the signage that you're going to be doing the construction, please think back to what you did before, when we were doing Topanga Town Open and all the other wordings and everything else. If you don't know what that is, please let us know and we will remind you, because that's extremely important for our businesses, that people know that the canyon is open. So when you're, I mean, yes, I live in Topanga too, so I'm concerned about residents being able to move throughout the canyon, but my businesses are very, very concerned about people being able to come to the canyon and not feel like they can't come into the canyon because there's construction, the road is closed, you can't get here, you can't get there. So be careful with your wording, think back to what we were doing at the beginning. We spent so much time getting Caltrans to agree to the wording on the signs. Go think back to that. And if you don't, we'll remind you, but please think back to that. And just in a positive spirit, I just want to let you know that in the spirit of making lemonade out of lemons, the Chamber of Commerce has now begun to take our brochure, which not only includes the names and ads and everything of our businesses and everybody that's on our topangachamber.org website, but also all the emergency numbers, all of your numbers and all the important numbers, your numbers in the brochure that we
And
put
we
out.
got your number, that's
And we've now taking them out onto the boulevard. So when you close traffic, today we spent an hour and a half on the boulevard handing out the brochures and information to our about our businesses. So you'll see at least once or twice a week, Topanga Chamber members out on the boulevard handing out our brochures. So we're taking advantage of the fact that we have this captive audience. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, this young.
Hi, thanks. I'm not from Topanga, but my daughter is, but this is actually something.
About Big Rock?
Talk into them.
Oh, okay, so Mike.
Oh, sorry, the mask. Excuse me. Anyway, I live in Big Rock, and since everything has been cut back there, you know, the trees that were on the edge of the road on Big Rock Drive. It's really, really steep, and it's like this close to the edge of the road to a very steep drop off. Are you gonna be the group that's responsible for the guardrails there, because there's gonna need to be new ones? I don't know if there was some erosion, but I'm just wondering who to
Big
talk
Rock
to.
is where?
PCH.
It's
Right,
No, it's
Big
on,
Rock is Gold Canyon.
It's two big rocks.
Oh, and Manzanita.
on Big Rock Drive. So I'm not sure who's
That's
responsible.
Big Rock is now.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
so that's county, sorry.
Okay,
That would be a county room.
okay, thank you.
I have a question on the chat. So this is from Sophie Husser. She says, I'm a parent of 2 children at Topanga Elementary. Who is holding the contractors to the 8:30 start time, particularly for the SCE work? We, as well as Manzanita, are dealing with traffic jams in the morning. Even leaving 30 to 45 minutes, school is backed up. Topanga Elementary is dealing with enrollment issues and funding issues due to tardies and absences. And I will add, Pally has also had a massive drop in enrollment for all the reasons and dealing with those same funding constraints. It's about the start time.
It is,
Yeah.
and we should let SCE give.
Exactly. So I want to take a pause right now because we have another special guest that's here tonight. I want to make sure, he's really important, a huge territory, don't want to take up more of his time. But we have a new captain at the Lost Hill Sheriff Station, and Dustin Carr is here, and I just wanted to give the community a chance to meet him. And take it away.
You guys take the mic.
Yeah, please, take the mic.
Thank you so much. Just to start,
Close.
Let's keep it real close.
there we go. I actually enjoyed watching your interactions. You guys are very passionate about where you live, and it's a nice thing to watch, to be honest with you. And yes, traffic is maddening sometimes. I totally get the
It's
sentiment.
been 9 months. 9 months.
But ultimately, I just wanted to come introduce myself, tell you how grateful I am to be the new captain of Lost Hill Station. This is a very, very special jurisdiction. It's a dream command for any captain to want. And, I'm very honored and humbled to be here, and I look forward to working with everybody in the future. I know we've had challenges this past year. I've been at the station 4 years as a lieutenant. I was your operations lieutenant for 3 years. I worked for Captain C2, and then I promoted August 10th to captain. So, like I said, dream command. I'm very honored, and I just loved watching everybody. It's something else, and you should be very proud of yourselves that you care so much about your community, because it's really something to behold. So I want to thank you very much. I won't take up too much of your time. I know you've got a busy agenda and it's already late. And I also wanted to thank you for moving me to 7 p.m. We had a scheduling conflict, with all the jurisdictions. So thank you again for accommodating me. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yes,
Welcome.
thank you for coming and making us one of your stops. We are honored to have you and just so grateful to have you. And I want to take a minute to compliment Deputy Baldy, who has come to every meeting. That's one. Years of meetings, and then he finally had to take a vacation, but he's an excellent contributor. He really has, it's very on the pulse of what's happening, and he's just got a really good community spirit, and he just feels like part of the Topanga family, so we're very grateful to have him. He's great.
He's great.
Yeah.
I love him.
And do we get to keep, we've been around for a while, so we can't hate us too much. This is good. Will you be around for a while? It's the one complaint I have. Our captains keep leaving us. Let's go.
Excuse my English. Listen, I can tell you that no one can predict futures. Generally, captains are at stations between 2 and 5 years. But the department right now, we're going through a big transition process, lots of promotions. They promoted probably 18 captains with this, and that's, unprecedented, right? So, as people retire, people move up, and, and so many organizations. So, but generally, captains are between 2 and 5 years at the station. That's not a hard date, some of them, some stay longer, some shorter, but that's generally what we look at. So, Captain C2 was here for, I think, just over 3 years. This is what it looked like. And then, she was an amazing captain, an amazing person to work for. And this was a very well-deserved promotion for her. She worked so hard with the fire preparedness, with community engagement, she's one of the hardest working people I have ever seen. So, and she actually continues to work hard moving forward. So, like I said, that's generally how it works. There's no like hard dates or numbers or anything like that. But if you just some perspective.
All right. So do we have any questions for our captains?
Oh, yes. Any questions for me?
What are you looking for? To create in this community?
Well, that's
Yeah.
Ultimately, our focus a lot in this community is fire preparedness. I'm just kind of looking to get to know everybody, get everybody's, opinions on, I know they mentioned, there was a question about, what's the evacuation plan? Well, I can actually kind of answer that a little bit. The reason we don't give a hard set evacuation plan is because when a major disaster occurs, fire or anything else, and we have to evacuate, so many things go into how we're going to evacuate people. So, and routes and things like that. So it's really dependent on what's going on with a natural disaster. And it's a joint decision between a lot of stakeholders in there, and then, a unified message, we call it unified command. And then That's how those decisions are made. So when we say, what's an evacuation plan, those plans, a lot of times are made dependent on what's going on with that disaster. So that's why, when the question's asked, it's not that no one wants to give an answer, it's that the answer is different depending on how things are going. So, if, I think the more engagement we have with the community, the more they'll understand that, how these things work. Because I think a lot of times, these things are always shrouded in mystery when, I can just give you an answer that's really the straight up truth. So, like I said, to answer that previous person's question on those evacuations, I can answer that. But yeah, plans for the community, I always like to be engaging. I always like to get to know, how things are working for you, how our services are working for you. We have our community survey that's out there right now. I hope, I know, you spoke about websites and stuff like that, but it is on all our social media. So there's even a QR code in our lobby if you just want to stop by there. But we want to hear from you, and the more feedback we get from you, the more we know how to augment our services, to better serve you. So, but if there's anything you're asking of me, please.
And, Captain, you're gonna be at the Ready Set.
The Ready Fest.
You're gonna be there, right?
It's all about emergency preparedness. Oh, Deputy Baldy, you're gonna be there.
I will be there.
Perfect, yay.
I would, if, let me see. Same days. I will have to get back to you on that. I have a schedule conflict that day, but,
Well, we're gonna be there all day.
all day? Okay. I will definitely let you know.
Be a good idea to be there, so you can get to meet the rest of the community.
It's, does most of the community come to
There's
this?
a community event.
Okay. I will,
Take the flyer.
Yeah.
I'll take
And
that.
that's your copy.
Is that a hint?
So you don't forget.
No, I don't forget. But, okay, yes.
Bring the family.
I have something in the morning and then I could probably be there, for a period of this.
I think it'd be good, even if it's an hour, even if it's a half an hour, just to show up. I think it's a good thing so that people can get to know who you are.
You seem really friendly and easy to talk to. Maybe.
I am.
That's great.
Yeah, no, I am, my management philosophy is always to be an approachable captain, but that's not just for my personnel, that's for the community too. So someone could walk up and say hi and, expect, favorable responses.
But the important thing is, I run into Deputy Baldy at events other than this. And I don't know if you actually coming up and acknowledging that. It's good because you know who your guy is, you know who the woman is, you know who is there for you for that department.
Yes, and no, that's important, and yeah, if, is this, you know what? I will come for my event, I will make unless I get sick or something, I will come after that event and come up here.
Yeah, you'll
So,
get a lot.
that way you get to come in,
Yeah.
it's all important, so.
Okay. Yeah, this is a big one, I will say, so if you could make it, that is great.
No, I would love to meet more of the community,
Great.
so.
Yay.
Yes.
All right,
Any other questions?
Thank
thank you so much, really, very warm welcome, we're delighted to have you. Okay, because I like to jump around a lot and keep everybody on their toes, we're gonna switch back to the road. So we're gonna give SDE a chance, John Abbott, to talk about their road work. And then also we're gonna put the question to him about the electronic sign. One thing it came up with the signs, like what kind of information do you want on it? And then Kathy had mentioned something and Ashley mentioned, I think in general, it's good to have like duration of the project, the entity doing that particular area. So people know if there's an issue or backup, like who is the entity responsible for that particular project? And then anything like for business related to Topanga Town Open. And then I would think if you can, I don't know why you can't. If there's a way to use those electronic signs to issue like a straight backup, go other way. If there's something happening that's causing an extra long backup, if there's a way to communicate that on the electronic sign in real time, I think that would be helpful, like Kathy's saying. It may not be possible, but I think it could be if somebody takes the time to think about coordinating that. So, all right, without further ado, we will hand it over to John Abbott, who is joining us virtually.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
You're on.
I'm on. Action, right, Roger? Action. So the sign is not a problem at all. The one thing I noticed when I was driving up from the valley up Topanga, there is a Caltrans sign there and it's talking about the paving, so it lists the nighttime hours. And one reason I didn't think about putting another one there right now was because it seemed to me that if we had, hey, there's going to be work at night and there's going to be work at day, it was going to be like a 24-hour cycle. Thought it might cause some confusion, but definitely we can get a light, a sign there, can say whatever you want it to say, and help people understand. I still think we should have something where people could be diverted to Old Topanga once we are completely done south of the town center. But that wording is going to be a little difficult because you could say, hey, there's no delays, but there are delays once they get to the town center and head south. So, but we'll definitely work with you. We'll be happy to put as many out there as you want and where you want them. The other thing, talking about the question about the schools, when I was out there, I sat out there. I made the mistake of, I think, being out there on the holiday, so there was not very much traffic at all. But the Tuesday and Wednesday after the Labor Day holiday, the thing that I saw is basically I got out there at 6:30 in the morning. I watched traffic flow very steadily from 6:30. It would thicken up sometimes, and then people would get stopped at the light at the school. But the biggest thing that I noticed is between 7:45 and 8 o'clock, there was 102 cars that turned into the school. And school starts at 8 o'clock. From 7:30 to 7:45, there was 36. So, and not all the traffic is for the school, right? I mean, there were times that when I sat out there, I would call my counterparts with Edison and go, hey, is there something going on? Did we start early? And they're like, nope, we haven't started. And traffic was backed up all the way past the school and around the corner, So I don't know what causes that when we're not on the road. I totally could see if we're on the road, there's going to be, but I think between Caltrans and ourselves, what I've witnessed, I know there's been some one-offs, but what I've witnessed is there's a pretty consistent job of letting traffic move and flow. I've driven it several times. I've timed it. I've never been held up more than, I think it was 8 minutes or 10 minutes, Roger. That was the one time we were together. That was the longest I sat at any one stop. But maybe that's 10 different times that I was there. I don't live there. I don't travel through that canyon all the time. As far as the work that we're doing, I kept hoping that we were going to be done south of the town center to Jalan or a little south of Jalan. I'm told this week is the week that we will be done between the town center and south of Jalan. So that will be one less area of us being there. But we are going to be in the north portion from Happy Trail, working our way down to the town center. So, and that's to give you a perspective, the section that we were just about to finish was about 0.8 miles. So it was a little less than a mile. The section that we're getting ready to start is 2.4 miles. So it's about 3 times the size of what was down south. And I've mentioned this, and next month, good news, I'll be there in person, and won't be on Zoom. But through this whole thing, we've we've met time and time again to talk about the community's needs, try to reduce the impacts that we're having, working with Roger, working with Carrie, working with Todd, working with Will and Joseph and everybody else that's there to, and I think Katie kind of mentioned it, is, we want to do whatever we can to minimize stuff. I do appreciate that, there's times I get emails saying, hey, what's going on? I know Rogers ran out there and checked stuff out to find out what the cause is of a traffic jam. I make phone calls as soon as I see something, what's going on our part. I know Katie's reached out to me asking, hey, what's going on? Because we're getting emails about traffic. And, we're not sitting there going, oh, it's Caltrans' fault, and I don't think that Caltrans is saying, oh, it's Edison's fault. It's just the coordination, really, that's an issue. And I would also say that we do know that you guys have been impacted before the fire. I think there was some mudslides prior to the fire, and you guys have been impacted greatly. So we anticipate the northern section, what was bid out to be done in December of this year. But I also know we're not going to work on red flag days. I know it's supposed to rain tonight in California, potentially substantial rain. Who knows what that could cause, and whether we'll be even working tomorrow. We're not working on the weekends. And to answer the question about who's responsible, if I get complaints that there's a lot of traffic, I always dig in and I always ask, are we starting early? And I've told the guys time and time again, you don't start before 8:30. Well, on the news section, it's 8:30. The other section was 8 o'clock. So I don't know if you guys have any questions for me, or if I didn't cover something you wanted me to cover. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we have questions. We're gonna-
Your nemesis Neil is gonna ask you a question.
Do you have a question?
My nemesis, Neil?
Yeah. Discovered that there's bedrock in Topanga when you were putting the vault in by my house.
Yeah, I remember.
That's my question. Do you have the geology from Happy Trail down to Town Center to be able to make adjustments where you may need to put extra crew in to let them go through the sandstone while you're working on the hard rock?
No, we don't have any geology for what's going to be in the ground. What they're doing right now and what they always do is they pothole. So, and it doesn't always guarantee, but they dig a big trench that's kind of diagonal. It's probably like 15 feet long and 9 or 10 feet deep and 2 feet wide, to make sure that the structure itself will fit there. And if they run into other utilities or they run into, potentially rock or something like that, they can make some adjustments. But there are times where that vault has to go there regardless of what's in the ground, unless it's other utilities we can't move. So to be honest with you, Neil, I don't know why whether that one was placed there because it had to go there for pulling cable, and there's all kinds of engineering that goes into it, or if it was, hey, we're just going to put it here because maybe they didn't hit the rock at that time, but when they dug the big hole, they hit the rock. I don't know.
Okay, the second thing is, a lot of the vaults you put in, we see that there's 2 ventilated pylons for each one of those. Does that mean that there's active equipment in there? Are those just used for splicing?
The vent pipes, they're gray with holes in them. Is that what you're talking about? Those are strictly for airflow. So when there's going to be transformation in there, and transformation can generate heat. Generally, it does, depending on how much load there is. Topanga's pretty spread out, so it's not gonna be like gigantic transformers. But it's required by the standards when we install a vault, there's always gotta be ventilation.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Will there be any electrical equipment in there that could generate heat, like a transformer?
Yes, there will be transformers and switches in there.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Well,
Or, do you have one, Kathy?
Well, okay,
Okay.
because
You don't
Sorry.
have a microphone.
well, it's just.
I kind of want to know what the definition is of work starting. Because several mornings in the last couple of weeks, I've seen you guys out from town down to the rumble strips, putting cones out and stopping traffic so trucks can come along. And as they put the cones out, like one lane is closed. So maybe we need to know, what do you mean by work? Like, does that mean that the guys aren't out there doing anything, or what?
The specifications of when they start is the cones start going out at that time. So when we worked on the southern portion below town, the start time was 8 AM. So they were not to put cones out or do anything. I know there were a few times. They started early, and it was brought to my attention. It was about, I want to say, 3 weeks ago. And I told them again, is no cone goes down on the ground. Now, the one thing you might see them do before that hour is on the side of the road, putting like the work signs up where they're not impeding traffic.
I guarantee you, I rode through there between 7:15 and 7:30 this morning, and they were out there doing it.
Well, you gotta make sure it's Edison.
We take a picture the next time it happens, so we can.
There's 3 different or 4 different entities working in that area.
This is from like town, up through the old Fernwood Market there. So
Right.
I presume that's it right now, right?
You
So
know,
have
Town.
to answer the question, I just, for those who are familiar with where the project areas are, that Caltrans or Edison is because of where they're doing the particular project. However, sometimes like when the zone is expansive, it does become confusing. Like right now, I feel like where Caltrans starts and where SDE ends.
We're not.
Right, it's hard to tell.
There's no clarity.
Right, exactly. But I think it will be easier once SDE moves up to Happy Trail, then there will be a much bigger gap, so it will be easier to tell. But we also want them to put the signs up so you can tell. But I would say, John, I am hearing from a couple people that the work is starting early, and I would advise people to take a picture and show you, a timestamp picture. I hate putting that on people, but it's like, when there's this contradiction between what the workers are saying and what people are saying, something's happening, so it's like we need to get
Right.
on it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was right after you guys, or I know Roger was at the pre-construction meeting, and I sent a email to the contractors and everybody saying, hey, just so we know, right? No cones go down until 8:30 because the school, the traffic, if there is still traffic and we haven't started, I don't know what to say. I don't know. But my 2 days that I sat out there for 3 hours and watched traffic, it was a little bit like Lucille Ball in the chocolate factory. So my numbers might be a little skewed because but I'm pretty sure they're pretty close. But there was traffic built up before 7:38, and on those days I did confirm we had not started any kind of traffic control. And I wanted to ask, maybe June would know this question. The answer is, what are the working hours for all the contractors that are working for Caltrans? I don't know if that's all the same.
He's getting up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Can find out, but they usually start as early as they can, like 6 o'clock to 3. That's usual, their usual hour, but the particular location you were talking about, Caltrans, contractors are not there. So we are at where, the walls were built.
The S curves.
Right, that's good, so
S curves.
that was that the location? or-
No, No, it's in town.
So, we can find out,
So,
we can find
is there
Hey,
out.
anybody
Jude,
other than
hey,
Caltrans
Jude,
that's working?
let me,
It
can I
could be-
say something?
Yeah. Yeah, Public Works could be there. It could be, other, like utility companies could be there, like gas company, I don't know. We can try to find out, but as far as I understand, Edison
It's
is
just you
saying,
guys, yeah.
that for the Caltrans, we're not there. What John is saying is that he gave a very particular order to his, staff, so, we can try to find out, but it could be the third party.
In the last few weeks, in the last few weeks, it has happened several days that the cones are going down at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Anybody else driving?
Right. Yeah, okay,
Please check it out.
yeah, I will.
That was
I
all.
will.
That definitely got that. Okay, so any questions for John? I do want to make sure that we have a chance for Casey to speak on, the traffic, road safety issues and if possible, I would also like Deputy Baldi to have a chance to give us the crime stats. So if final question for John Abbott? Okay, all right, John, thank you so much. Dynamite, I know you'll look into the sign issue and then also the potential early starts with your workers. So just to clarify, they're still starting at 8, but once they make the decisive move to Happy Trail, then it's 8:30?
Yes, 8:30 is what they're working on the Happy Trail side, but that is 8:30 start.
Good, okay,
And
all right.
this
Don't
week,
go down.
what's
Got
that?
The code down until 8:30.
Yes.
When they move up.
But right
Yeah,
now,
when they
go
move
down
up,
at 8
when they move
o'clock.
up.
Right
Okay.
now,
They should be up there right now. Doing some work.
All right,
So,
good, good. All right, so
okay.
that's back now. Excellent. Thank you so much, John. Fantastic.
Okay.
Look forward to seeing you in person.
Yeah, next month I'll be there.
Yay! Awesome. All right, be safe. We're gonna hand this over to Casey now for a road update. Because we're still on the road, so you see I'm trying to keep with the thematic. And then we go to crime, and then it's all good.
So for us, it's nice and simple. Thank you so much. For us, it's real simple. Crashes have been down because traffic is down. Everything has to go a lot slower. So luckily, though I do agree that driving back and forth through there would be great if there's even more signs, because I've seen a couple of people come in a little hot. I've watched overall, it seems like the majority of the people is a lot more just Topanga residents, because they know that the curbs are coming up. They know that traffic could be stopped around the corner, especially right down there by the intermittent traffic. So the good news is people have been paying attention to that, and there haven't been too many issues. So crashes are down year over year, about 25% on both the north part and the south part. It's separated by 2 mile bridge, I believe. And so traffic, the crash, I think, was last year was, exact number. Last year was 3 and 4, and this year it's 2 and 3. So we've got a nice easy report because everything's messed up. Everybody else's report is a lot longer.
We love the short report. Somebody did come to me who couldn't make the meeting, and she wanted me to bring this up because she experienced it herself. It has to do with the one lane of traffic and motorcycles. So she's experienced a time where motorcycles will come up and they'll ride the center line, maybe go over, and then they'll kind of cut to the front of the line. So it seemed like this question maybe addresses like both Caltrans and.
Yes, it's illegal. There's not much we can do about it. The only way we can get up to them is going wrong way, and that would put ourselves and the general motoring public in much more danger just for what? A ticket. So there's nothing, this is not an arrestable offense or anything like that. I've seen it myself, and I kind of like, most of the time they abide by the rules when we're behind, but some of them do know. Just like, well, why aren't you doing anything about the motorcycles doing this? They're like lane splitting at 80. I was like, if they're lane splitting at 80, that means I'm probably going about 50 or 40. I can't catch up to them. If I do lights and sirens, people are going to freak out. Some will stop, some will go left, some will go right. I might cause more accidents than just letting that person go. So there's not much we can do. So I have seen it personally. There's not much we can do about that. We've had a motor officer that's been able to come down and go through the canyons. He stopped a couple of them just because of the danger, the inherent danger in it. But because of how slow traffic is at those locations, especially for the one-way bypass, honestly, the danger is very low. I know people get upset by it, but it's nothing that's worth endangering other people.
All right, fair enough. So, thank you for all your great work. Can I just ask, are you still interested when people are cutting over the double yellow line, zipping in front of traffic, and coming back over, or my passenger to write that down? My kids love to write that down.
Well, we like it as a community. Officer Sturgis is apparently nailing it on the letters. We've gotten some responses back from people that called in and said, "What do I do about this?" And
Okay. Well,
they just scares us a little bit. So no, you keep sending them to Officer Sturgis.
my teenagers are.
If they're on it, we like it even more. And as always, if this is a reckless driver and they're doing more, then there is follow-up that we can do. It's more than just a letter, especially if this can relate to other things. Because we're able to look up the license, look up the possible drivers, see if there's more to this, that this is something that's happened more and more. So if you've got video of them acting a fool and endangering the lives of people, then we want to know. We can do follow-up with that. But crossing over real quick, cutting in, we'll write a letter. We'll write a strongly worded letter. The captain will sign it off, and at the very least, we've got somewhat documentation. He keeps a copy of all the letters, so we've got documentation. So God forbid there is a bad accident, there is more, then we've got more to go with it. I was actually just at the Grossman case. I was doing a breakdown with the district attorney, and one of our officers had written her a ticket like 7 years before about reckless driving and driving crazy and everything like that, and that was actually brought up in the case. So when there's documentation that shows a history of, or look, we've got a lot of people, then absolutely.
That's really great point.
Yes.
What is happening with the deconstruction of those RVs across from
Yeah.
the TLC?
I saw that today. So the first time I saw it, I thought it was like a Mad Max thing that you guys had going on. Topanga's its own creature, and I thought maybe it was an art project or something. But today when I saw it coming down here, I saw the person, he's tearing down the whole thing. I'm very curious. I didn't know that that's something that we did down here. I hope it's not something that happens a lot, because that's going to get real messy, real gross, real quick. But I saw the person actively working on it. I don't know what we're looking at with that, because it's its own private property. You're allowed to damage your own property. We've had people pull over, get mad, destroy their own cars, and well, as long as you pick it all up, it's fine. There's no littering. There's no rules or laws. But and that part right there is a dirt. I think that they're just past the part that is public right of way. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, private property. So there's really not much we can enforce. And honestly, they're destroying it. So I appreciate it. Get out of here. It's an eyesore. But yeah, I saw that today, and I thought that was unusual.
I'm just concerned that the trash board is gonna have to hold up that way.
I'm curious what the plan is. I'm curious if there is a plan. So I'll talk to Officer Sturgis. We'll talk about coming down, and if we need to do a little follow-up with that person, make sure it's being done properly, we can do that.
Yes, I don't want trash forwarders to have to take that away, so if they do leave it, then it's something you can.
Then we have to have a conversation, and then we'll monitor. If it's a one-time thing, it's a one-time thing. Thank you, get out of here. But maybe stick to traditional methods of destruction of RVs.
There's 2 RVs there, so what's the second?
I don't know. That one maybe is doing it in front of the other RV, so it knows what happens if it's bad.
Yeah, are there any more questions for Casey, or do we wanna jump to crime? Casey, fantastic, as always, thank you. All right, Deputy Baldy, what do you got for us?
All right, so I got your crime stats for August. Pretty slow August. There one residential burglary. That burglary involved basically an Airbnb guest that stayed there, left, and then came back and stole some furniture. Yeah, it was apparently like a very expensive antique piece of furniture. So that's all part 1 crime we had for the month. Total crimes for the year, we're at 30, which is up 25% from last year, but down 33% from 5 years ago. So we're kind of in a spike right now. We'll see if that continues throughout the year. I know, Carrie, you emailed me about the thefts specifically, so I did a quick dive into that. And a big reason for the spike in the thefts There's one particular address where there's a landlord tenant dispute going on, and they keep alleging that the other is stealing their property. So that alone in the last 2 months accounted for 4. Yeah, so that's all I have on the crime. I just wanted to mention one more thing I brought. I think we talked about this a few months ago, the camera registry program. So I brought flyers if anyone's interested. This is strictly to register your cameras. We do not monitor them. We do not spy on you in any way. This just puts a dot on a map. So if there's a crime near your house, the detective can look on the map and say, oh, there's a camera right there. We'll go knock on the door, see if they have footage. This is just to kind of help detectives cut down on the physical legwork of going out there and looking for cameras so they have more time to do other things. I'll leave that on the table here too, and I'll take questions.
There you go.
Cody, can I ask, maybe within the last month, there was a report of, I believe, an unhoused individual using meth who was in the town center, was outside the yoga studio and was frightening patrons as they were exiting. And I think this person hung around and was kind of they ended up hiring some security and entry. Can you update us on that situation? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen heard about it, but I'm not aware of any deputies that made any contact. They haven't relayed any info to me. And I don't know if anybody's emailed me about that person, but I did hear about that through calls. But
Nicholas, the Lawrence Pine Tree hired some extra security for like a week, and maybe he wandered on. I just wondered.
yeah, just let Nicholas know if he is having a problem with security. Give us a call. We can evaluate him if he needs to sober up for a night. Sober up for a night, or if he needs help, we can contact the host team and try to get him some services.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Bueller?
Holy smoke, this is great. Like, you guys are so on it. We don't even have questions. This is terrific. All right, so if there are any other questions for Caltrans or SDE, otherwise we'll open it up to community announcement.
John had to say goodnight, so SDE.
All right, so SDE is off the table. Any questions for Caltrans?
Weather preparations for tonight and tomorrow.
We have sandbags and BMBs in place all over the extension area.
The library will be closing in 15 minutes. Library applications are no longer being accepted for today.
So we have crews on standby. They are ready for anything. Depends on where the mudslides are and what happens. Our maintenance crews will also be monitoring the road to see what's going on. If needed, of course, we might close the boulevard, depends what slides up. Hopefully nothing happens, but we are ready.
Thank you, Sharifullah.
Let's open it up to community announcements or resident announcements about things that are coming up. I know there's lots of stuff. Ashley, you want to start?
Sure. So we have a new Daddy and Me story time that is going to be taking place twice a month on Saturday. So we're really hoping to see a new audience with this program. Probably like a year ago, we started a book club here at the library. I know we had one before COVID. So I encourage everyone to look at that and see what book we're reading for the month. Our story time, our regular story time started up again. And we run that for 6-week sessions, and then we take a 2-week break. And that is for ages of 2 to 5. Our bookmark contest, which we do annually for kids K through 12, is running until October 18th. And I think last year we had 2 winners in the canyon. So it's a pretty big deal for the kids. They get to meet the supervisors and get a certificate and a gift basket. So it's fun for them to win or enter it, you know. And then we have a lot of like programs coming up for babies and toddlers. So definitely check out our website to see what else is going on.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. Roger, did you want to mention anything about?
No, not right now.
Roger, okay, good.
So on behalf of Tigers Powers, who's not here tonight, I wanted to announce, there's a new group called Indivisible Topanga, which is a nonpartisan pro-democracy group. They have 2 upcoming events. They're joining other indivisible groups up and down California coast to form a human coastal chain called Hold the Line, which is going to be meeting in the Palisades in Santa Monica. They're also joining with the Progressive Democrats. Dorothy asked me to announce to host a No Kings 2 rally October 18th in front of the post office. These are both peaceful events, raise awareness about democracy, fair elections. You can learn more at indivisible.topanga.org.
Excellent.
I do have a quick thing.
Me too. There you go. I'm gonna. Yeah.
Just a quick little story. I live on Old Topanga, and across the street, across the way from me, there was a homeowner who had a string of lights that they put up. Those string of lights lit up the entire hillside where they were, and also into my house. And so late at night, these lights were on all night long. So I was trying to figure out the best way to deal with this. Do I go over and read him the riot act? Do I go over and talk to him nicely? Do I make him look like an idiot by telling him about the dark skies ordinance that the county has? I was going through this in my own head for about 2 weeks. Finally, I said to myself, you know what? Let me go over and just, as a neighbor, to go over and talk to him or her and find out if they could turn the lights off at night. Well, lo and behold, I went over there, and when I told the person what the issue was, he turned the lights off. And so what it said to me was that rather than dropping a dime on somebody, everybody knows what that term is, instead of like going over and being nasty about it, in most cases, if you talk to someone nicely and explain to them why these lights should not be on all night long, most of the time, people will respond. And so if we have this issue throughout the canyon, which I know we do, I think it's important that as a neighbor to each other, before we drop a dime, before we call the authorities, before we get into a physical fight, it'd be good to just have a conversation, get to know your neighbors a little bit. Because the light issue in the canyon is a big issue. New people are moving in, they don't know it. They are sometimes afraid, and so they'll leave their lights on at night because God forbid a coyote comes into the yard or something. But I would just say approach it in a gentlemanly or gentlewoman manner before you take it to DEFCON 3.
Fantastic example, Roger. I really like that. That was a great personal share. I overlooked, I'm sorry to mention, my apologies. We have a FEMA representative here. They have a presence in the canyon, like for the most part, like they're phasing out from the emergency, the fire emergency. But I did want to give Peter a chance to say hello and let you all know he's here, observing, trying to help.
Sure. Hi, everyone. If you knew Roxy before, she's actually headed to Argentina for a second. So she's not here, so I'm here so if there are issues that are coming up related to recovery, I know she shared a couple in the past, recently with lead mats in particular, but please feel free to let us know so that I can take those issues back.
And what email should people reach you at?
So I can,
You want to send it to me?
I'll send, yeah, you're CC'd on the same email that, well, yeah, I'll just send it.
Gotcha, yeah, I'm on the email chain, perfect. All right, so then I just wanted to.
And we also know that FEMA is being attacked by our federal government as well, by certain forces within the federal government.
Do you need us to say a good word for you?
or attacking FEMA.
For the most part, right, which is unfortunate, but of course we handle the local issues. So much we can do, but it's good to be aware that it is, yeah, anything you can do, contact Brad Sherman, who actually had the audacity to have a meeting at the same time that we were having a meeting. But Brad Sherman would be the rep to reach out to, you know, basically say thank you for FEMA or anything like that.
Real quick, I don't know if this is occurring in your part of the canyon, but we've been having the coyote choir the last several nights, and it's really nice to remind you that we're in their spot.
Point taken. Very good. Wise word. Okay, so next month, our meeting is Wednesday, October 15th, the third Wednesday of the month, 6 to 7:45. We try. And our theme next month is going to be fire, fire, fire. All things fire. The fire department wasn't able to come tonight, but they will be here next month, and we'll be talking about Firewise and various other hot topic issues. I did want to say on Firewise. So, you know, that is a program. We'll be at Ready Fest. There'll be a table and we'll talk about it. But essentially, Firewise is a program that enables the community to get a small discount on their home wildfire insurance if we have a critical mass of residents participating in the program. Participating means hardening your home, doing, they call it defensible space, basically brush clearance, vegetation management on your property. But when you do it, we need you to report it on a form. It's a pretty concise form. We're actually revising it now. So I'm actually asking you to hold off on reporting because we're going to debut the new form, which is a lot easier to report on it. It hews more to how we have to give the information to CAL FIRE. But essentially, we're asking people, keep track of what you've done over the past year on home hardening, create a tally. And then also with your brush clearance in defensible space. And then I'm going to ask you at our October meeting to run, not walk, to our website to support those efforts. Now, where you can find it is, it's onetopanga.com. That's it. That's like number 1, O-N-E, Topanga, Topanga.com. No spaces, no dashes. Onetopanga.com. Go down to the bottom of the page and you'll see a Firewise logo. Click on that and that will take you right to the reporting form. But hold off, because I don't want you to do it until end of the month, beginning of October, because that's when the final revised form goes live. If you must do it now, it's okay. I'll incorporate the old data, but it's better if you wait.
And what's the deadline?
The deadline, thank you for asking. I'm asking that people get it done no later than the first week of November to submit their information. But we'll go over this. We'll do it, Ryan and I, we do this, I mean, all of the organizations participate, but the Topanga Town Council and the Fire Safe Council basically jointly take responsibility for collecting and submitting this information to CAL FIRE and doing all the administrative tasks to keep us current. And we will doing we'll have a table and we're doing a brief presentation at Ready Fest.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
I want to say one thing about home hardening. I think we need to talk up home hardening. We need to talk it up big time, because right now, a lot of the money that is allocated towards fighting fires on many, many different levels, very little of it, if any of it at all, goes to home hardening. They go to brush clearance, they go to vegetation clearance, sorry, not brush clearance, vegetation clearance. They go to things like keeping your vegetation 150 feet away from your house. I'm exaggerating a bit, but I think what needs to happen is we need to talk more about home hardening. So whenever you get into a conversation with folks about protecting yourself from fire, talk it up. Talk up home hardening. We need to get more money allocated to that and less money allocated to things that we really don't want.
Fair enough. And we'll talk more about that. We'll have stats and things like that next week to see like what percentage of wildfires are attributed to how much reduction in risk you can achieve through home hardening versus defensible space, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, we'll get into all of that next month and I hope you all can make it. Thank you so much for coming. Great meeting.